Hello, we're here for the Key 5 assignment. I have Emily Purser and myself, Drew Freeman. We're going to be talking about the recording, 20-minute recording teaching that we did, then took a look into the teaching side of the aspect of it right there, and then also the student side, what we learned. So going into it, just first and foremost, how was it when you were recording?
I would say that it was a good lesson that you recorded. I think that I'm more comfortable now with you coming in than the first time that you came and observed. You've done a great job being supportive and encouraging, so that makes it easier.
I'm glad I've been there. Like I said, I mean, I couldn't tell even if you were nervous the first time. It was outstanding. Like I said, every time we've seen progression from our first peers goal, where it's been dealing with just specific feedback, and then this last one that we've actually done on classroom behavior. And great example of that. I know in those two timestamps that we kind of discussed a little bit and went over the highlights of the lesson, then also from a teacher aspect and the student aspect. The teacher aspect, clear expectations right off to the bat, right there in the first 50 seconds, we already had clear expectations set. You went from the spelling, I believe that was when they were sitting down if they missed the word. Am I correct in that? And then standing
Yes.
up. So that was pretty neat. It got them interactive. It got them up. In second grade, that's the biggest thing. Even that I'm seeing in PE side of things, keep them moving. So you got them up, you got them moving. They were highly engaged in it. And then right from that, a flawless transition. Right when they went into their seats at the 50-second mark, you set a clear expectation of go sit down, get ready for identification of vocabulary words. So perfect explanation of what we were working on with that. I think that going into it, the strategies really worked. Now, from the student side of it, I think we were around the 11-minute mark when I started really seeing some student engagement. And really, what caught my eye from the classroom behavior portion of it was they were encouraging. I mean, they were engaged in the lesson. But then you made that comment about everybody clap for the student that read the poem, and that was outstanding. It goes straight into role modeling of the expectations of what you want your learning environment to be. So, excellent job from that standpoint. When we looked over those together right there, those are the two things that stuck out to me, and then you mentioned it as well that stuck out to you. So I'm glad that we're probably going to move on from that peers goal, and we'll talk about that here in 1 second for the recording. But I do got a couple of questions for you, and it's kind of going into those key assessments that we did, which you answered those 8 questions. You kind of see what we're having to do on the other side of it, and then filled out those teacher and student on the video. So we'll discuss that here as well. But I want to start off with the questions of how did you feel when being recorded during this lesson? I know you stated that you're getting more comfortable. Why do you think you're getting more comfortable? Is it more because of the experience or the understanding of why we're doing it?
I would say probably a combination. Of course, the first time you came in, I was not really sure what you were coming in
Yeah.
for or what to expect after you finished observing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say probably a combination.
Yeah. No, I definitely could see, like I said, I mean, you could have fooled me from that first time to right now. You seem very comfortable with it. I know you mentioned you're going for your master's, so I know that during mine, they did a lot of video analysis. You kind of went and taught, and then you came back and sat down with the professor and did that. So that's probably helping out as well for sure. But definitely can tell that you're getting comfortable with it. So excellent job. Next question would be, what were your thoughts on the lesson that was recorded with the poetry and the vocabulary? Did you think that it flew well? I know that you do spend a lot of time during planning. Like I said, every minute you're keeping them busy, and that's evident within that. So just tell me your thoughts on that lesson.
I think that the lesson went well, especially when I think about the peer school that we had, the environment. I think that it was much more manageable. There wasn't a lot of talking. The talking that there was on task to what we were doing. So I would say I'm definitely seeing improvement in the lessons.
Yeah, from an engagement standpoint, like I said, I mean, even the 2 problem students that we've mentioned in previous key assessments from our goal right there, focusing really just almost solely on them. I mean, the other classroom stays pretty much seated in their seats. And I've always referred to them just like me when I was in second grade, very just energetic. They're not problem behaviors, and they want to be involved, I guess to say. So that's the one thing that I saw even in this last lesson is that you called on them more often, and let them be involved is the biggest thing. So excellent job in that lesson from the poetry and the vocabulary. Even taught me some identification of vocabulary, which took me back second grade. When being evaluated by an administrator, so during these key assessments, we were talking about a level and then how we want to be evaluated. We've talked about the Danielson, we've talked about TEKS. So this question kind of goes along with that of when being evaluated by an administrator, do you feel judged or do you feel the sense of a rating scale for improvement? Do you think that they're doing this to be judgmental on your lessons or actually give you Specific, right there. Feedback. Thank you.
I think that our admin does a really good job just building relationships with the staff. So when they do come in, I do see it as just a chance to grow versus a judgment.
Yeah. I think as well. I think our admin does a great job of giving feedback. They come into our classrooms regularly, so it does what it's supposed to do. With that, our current peers goal involving classroom behavior, we talked about that, kind of ready to move on. I know that this definitely could be an avenue for you. You could be on the other side of this and having a protege if you want to, as your third year and already the team lead. Definitely can see that. I think it's time to move on from the classroom behavior, since we've done this now for, I believe it's 2 or 3 key assessments, and the problems are eliminated. You have flawless transitions, high time on task, they're energetic and engaged. They're not complacent. They're not just sitting there because you've told them to sit there. It's definitely viewable on the screen and inside in the environment. So moving forward, I think we're going to try to move to Domain 4. All right, Domain 4 is professional responsibilities. Do you think that is a necessary move, or do you want to stay on that domain?
No, I think that moving forward would be a good idea. I think that I've seen consistent improvement in behaviors and transitions, and I think that we can move forward.
Yeah, I think the implementation of the strategies that we've been doing with proximity control, positive learning environment, clear expectations, excellent job. Like I said, you've tackled them every time that we've kind of implemented one and done an outstanding job. Now, with that new peers goal, it's going to come more in Domain 4 for the professional responsibility underneath growth. So growth of the teacher. And like I said, you're already on leadership committee on your third year. That's outstanding. Okay. So now it's just kind of giving you that experience, letting you kind of have the free reign and maybe learning from, I know Lieberstein does an outstanding job of it right there as well. So maybe just shadowing her, seeing what kind of stuff she does right there from a leader standpoint. So is that something that would feel comfortable doing, or more hands-on experience? Which one would you think?
No, I would feel comfortable maybe just starting off shadowing somebody,
Okay.
because it is my first year, in this lead position. So
Perfect. Yeah, no, we can definitely accommodate that, and we'll kind of brainstorm some of the strategies and the next kind of steps that we're definitely wanting to take. Next question would be, since we will be moving to the Domain 4 underneath professional responsibility, what do you see as the next step of becoming more robust teacher? So what do you think is involving, I guess, that becoming, into that Domain 4 of professional responsibilities?
Well, like we said, this is my first year in the leadership role. I'm still a relatively new teacher. Through this, I have, like I said, I feel really comfortable working with you. And I think that me learning how to make others feel comfortable, like on my team, is something that I want to learn how to do.
Nice. Yeah. And a lot of it, we got some great TSC instructors, and they've taught about better conversations, about finding a common ground and doing stuff like that. So that's definitely something that we can look at some of the books from Jim Knight to help out as well, for sure. Next question would be, what is the biggest insight on watching yourself during, going kind of back to the recordings right here, what was the biggest insight that you saw during your teaching that kind of just stuck out to you besides those 2 timestamps that we already discussed?
I would say that just overall, the 2 students who we've kind of talked about all semester, seeing them, engaged, but still following the classroom expectations throughout the entire video. That's something that, it was really good to see that.
100%. Yeah, and then seeing it all work and flow. Like I said, you work timelessly and flawlessly on the actual preparation, looking at the lesson plans. You have strategic goals and targets that you're setting, and then it scaffolds. It actually progresses throughout the week. I wish we could have got to see all of that poetry lesson for sure, just to see the next lesson with the differentiation that I put into the key assignments from that. So the next question is, we just thought about that from the teacher of how you're feeling from that, and you spoke about those 2 students. So from the insight now from the student perspective, what was the biggest highlight from that seeing them?
I would just say that I was pleased not only with those 2 students, but with everybody. Like you said, everybody was engaged and very supportive.
Yeah.
And I think that, is really important, having that support from their peers as well.
100% agree. And like I was saying, it comes down from the role model and the teacher. You're doing setting a great example of positivity, with you even stating after that student got done with the poetry of giving them a round of applause. It sets the tone. It sets that there's a positive learning environment, fear of, failure, and setting clear expectations. So excellent job with that. Now, during our Peers Goal assignment, so what we did right there, setting the Peers Goal and the action plan, we talked about the leveling expectation, kind of like I referred to earlier with the Danielson and the Teaks. And I know in previous conversations we've had, it's been more of the Danielson. We like the simple structure of it. There's kind of subcategories. It kind of seems non-biased. Does that feel something is what, when we're saying leveling of evaluations, do you want to focus more on the Danielson or those 10 components underneath the Teaks?
I do like the Danielson because I feel like it's more, maybe in-depth, descriptive. So it gives me more specific ways to improve in the classroom.
No, I agree. I think it gives us a better job or easier way of finding those strategies. So it goes right to it. We can go right underneath, classroom behavior and then those subcategories, and then go and search those subcategories to find strategies. And that's what we always want as a teacher, is not to beat around the bush to say, but we want those specific strategies and ways that we can implement them. And then once we implement them, see if they work for us.
Right.
So excellent. So we'll keep with the Danielson when it comes to that right there. So right here, in your eyes, what is good teaching? So what is good teaching when through your eyes right there to your class?
I would say that good teaching is about motivating students to learn, and then also teaching them to learn in ways that are relevant, meaningful, and memorable.
Yeah, nice. And I mean, that's pretty much direct to the point. Couldn't have said it better myself. Good teaching is pretty much setting an example of the fun learning, and it was definitely evident within that. Like I was saying, all the students were engaged. It was a high energy lesson. There was no downtime. They were all on task. And then, like I said, I wish we could have got to see that next lesson for the differentiation. The differentiation was outstanding in the following lessons that I got to hear about and see in the lesson plan. So last question. Overall, would you do anything different within that recording to represent good teaching? I know good teaching was existent in that. When you were looking at that, would you have tweaked or would you have changed anything?
Well, I wish that I would have maybe included the differentiated groups in the recording just so that I could reflect on that. I think that the whole group lesson was good, but you don't see as much differentiation in a whole group lesson.
The engagement was there, though. And I said we have to make sure, and then we took it at a glance of 20 minutes. So, I mean, when we talk about the lesson plan, that's what we're focused on: the learning targets, the learning objectives, the assignments, assessments. And you're doing a great job still of giving specific feedback when looking at some of the rubrics and everything that you're doing. And then also, just staying on task and having upbeat conversations with the student. So overall, keep up the good work. We're going to be starting Key 6 coming up. So looking forward to that. And then we're almost done. 2 more left. So appreciate it. That's all I got for you today. Thank you guys for Key 5 post-conference. Thank you.